Hey everybody, Texas Stroker here, Lance's Performance Shop, LoneStarMopars.com. Saturday evening, finally got some time out here in the shop, and you will never believe what we're going to showcase today. That's right, not necessarily, something shocking and brand new or super cool and unknown. Something very well known, something that is universally adored by virtually everyone, and that's what makes it shocking, that I've never picked the thing up. So what we have from Wera is going to be their Metric Tool Check Plus. Again, if you're new here, we've got timestamps, links down below, all of that for your convenience. But before we jump into it, we got to talk KC Tool. Why? Anytime you place an order, in this case, that we get a bit of things. Doesn't matter if you spend $1,000 or 10 cents, you're going to get a bit of things. This is currently shipping conveniently as a number 2 Phillips from Wera. So, it's also knee-deep here in the summer of Hazet, summer 2025 seasonal here. I've covered this beforehand, right? And then what we've kind of brought in and what we might bring in. So if you're curious, that's kind of where this dates. This has been sitting here a while. And before we jump back into that, I guess we have to take care of the mystery sticker. Now, for those of you scoring at home and I try to update you, first and foremost, I can take the easy street. The newly implemented KC Tool Rewards program allows you to redeem points to get specific stickers, not like a bag where you're going to get a sticker and it might be the same KC tool you've had 14 times. You can hand select on these original mystery stickers what you get to complete a set, to complete a second set, to just ensure that you get your favorite sticker, whatever. All right, this is my master checklist. We're going to set this thing down. This, I'm not feeling anything crazy, so I'm inclined to say it's a smaller sticker. I'm wondering if it could be a diamond hiding in there. That would be Knipex. That would be huge, because it would be our first ever one. This is making me think it's not. It was Picard. So, of course, every bag also has that same checklist. If you wondered where I got that, it's nothing special. It's in the bag. You just might have missed it. Cool looking sticker, and this will be Picard dupe number 2, so our 3rd overall. Still eluding me, Knipex, KC Tool, and Hazet. Go figure. But there we go. That's kind of your fun stuff out of the way. More fun stuff, though, is behind me. While I have not picked up a Wera Tool Check until this moment in time, I did get this. This was through the 2024 Wera Advent Calendar. I've still not made a video on that. I kind of got to where I sort of did that with my family. They thought it was cool, and we just went to town there. I do have another one sitting here in the floor. I think it's a 24. Don't hold me to it. But if you think, yeah, that just kind of looks like a scaled down Tool Check Plus. If you've been under a rock and you don't do the Advent calendars, you probably missed this video. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking like, wait, grab that again. Set that down for me. What is the difference? This looks like the same thing. In fact, it has that weird little adapter. It's got the ratchet. It's got the bit holder. It's 3 sockets, 4 sockets. That one has 1 more socket. Okay, well, typical Advent calendar, scaled down, showcase new things. But how is that new? Tool Check's been out for forever. You're thinking, what in tarnation's that deal? Why did we need to take that was perfectly fine and throw this black comb? Like, what are you supposed to do? Like, fix your beard before you go to the customer's door? Well, flip it out. It is a hinge. And as you can see back here, we've got, you're like, whoa, hex keys. And you're like, whoa, is that a precision driver? It totally is. So this is the Wera Tool Check Modular. It was teased with the Advent Calendar. German tool companies across the board do this, whether it's Hazet, Stavilla, Hazet, Wera, Gador. If you buy an Advent Calendar, you're typically getting a really good value, but you also many times get a sneak peek of what is to come, oftentimes just 3-6 months down the line, right? So those kind of need to be here so we can jump into this. What have I missed out all this time? Why did I not buy this? Why did I get it now? Let's start answering some of those questions. This was picked up now, and I have no shame in saying this because it's on a ridiculous sale. This is an absolutely absurd sale. It's like almost 50% off. Okay. Retail price on that right now, I think it's like 85, 90 bucks, something like that. And that is, for today's time and way things are, that's a steal. That's when you want to buy, when you're almost 50% off. So that's why I bought it. The other reason I bought it, simple reason, it is a German tool essential. That's right. When you go to KC Tool and you see the yellow background, this has the yellow background. If you ever wondered, like, what is that? Is that like some seasonal sale from 2021 I missed or something? No. A handful of products from all their makes have a position as a German tool essential. This is essentially something, if you came in, if this is your first ever time hearing of German tools or Wera or the Tool Check, and you fall in love with it and you're like, man, I got to try that thing, and he's right, 50% off, that's the time to go. Other brands, when you go to the essential section, it's a tab, just like Tool of the Day and the Seasonal, you'll have the essentials. So from Wera, it might be the Tool Checks, and maybe some laser tip drivers from Hazet, the 916 HP, Stavilla Ratchet. You get the idea. Some really solid, universally loved products from each brand is available. It's honestly a good place to start if you're totally brand new and you're just wanting to experience the brands, see what they're about, find out what you like. Because again, while this is universally loved, that's not 100%. That's just high praise from virtually everyone. You might be one of those people that's like, that sucks. I don't like that. That doesn't fit what I do. Or, you know, yeah, I thought this thing was great, and then I found out this existed and I prefer its footprint, or I like the Hazet iteration, or man, there's this Taiwanese import thing that gets double the tools for fractions the price. That's the way to go. You have to experience this stuff, whether that's in person, in store, locally, if it's buying blindly off the internet, if it's watching videos, reading forum posts. The more time you spend prepping, the more time you're hopefully going to wind up with something in your hands that you like. So that's literally it. The other reason, the other question some of you might have is like, wait, this is like, and I don't know if this is going to be a tool haul or like a front-loaded special one. It's probably just going to be a standard one, to be honest with you. So this is like 130 something KC tool hauls. If you add everything in where I have front-loaded videos and special, we're probably like, we've done a ton of them. Probably around 150-ish, you know, something like that. And you think, wait, how could you have not, in 150 tool hauls, picked this thing up if it's an essential and it's universally celebrated? And surely the price, you know, 6-7 years ago when you started this was cheaper. All those points are valid. And the reason that I never brought one of these in, and I wouldn't have brought this in if it wasn't the advent calendar, okay, is quite simply, I see the merit of this. I understand why people like it and what it would be useful for, but I don't have like a dire need where I look at all of these, and a lot of people are like, I throw them in my glove box and fix the car on trips. I don't see that really helping me much. You know, I guess it depends on what you drive. Now, let's say that I was over here riding around, you know, on some cross rocket. This would be awesome. Super small footprint, ton of stuff packed into it, lightweight, under the seat, whatever storage, saddlebag if I have that going, a minimal footprint, lots packed into it, huge benefit. These, where I think they really shine, I totally get why people would do that, you know, especially, you know, karting, motorcycles, that sort of thing. This isn't going to help me a ton on the side of the road. Now, depending on what you drive, it could be vastly different, but for me, that's not like a huge selling point. Where I see all of these being super, super nice is the ubiquitous kitchen drawer, right? Or maybe the desk drawer type of a thing. You go to your grandparents' house and you open this drawer and there's like a bunch of miscellaneous buttons, a ton of pins they don't use, rolls of tape from the 1980s that probably don't even, you know, unroll. And this, you know, and you're like, oh, that actually has utility. It's like a bunch of little random bits and drivers where you can fix random things that you come across, you know, like batteries went out on the coffee maker, fix it. The timer needs batteries, change them. You have to turn a knob on something with a set screw, go to town. You bought new furniture that has a weird hex bit, it's probably in this set. That's really where I personally envision this being like elite, right? There's other ways you could do it. You could have like, you know, 19 dedicated drivers or multi-bit drivers from two companies with tons of extra bits, or you could do something like this, right? Towel rack is loose. The towel holder in the kitchen is loose. The door, pull on your refrigerator is coming loose. The vent on the microwave's vibrated its way down. Something like this would be killer for stuff like that. Same thing like desk drawer. Just the other day, we had something running like hellaciously hot, and it was like, hey, we need your temp gun, and I'm like, oh no. And I knew that the temp gun takes a 9-volt battery, and I was like, I don't have 9-volt batteries. Did I buy one? I did. Luckily, it was an Energizer Industrial. But I had to come in, and take the thing apart, pull, the battery, get it in, reinstall the screw. Little stuff like that is really, to me, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like, well, I had a 1400 horsepower Viper on a drag and drive event, and I fixed everything in the parking lot. That's, no. You could configure this to be closer towards achieving that, but where this is just stellar is that kitchen drawer thing. Now, depending what you do, if you're like a finish out guy in new construction, if you're like the maintenance guy, at an apartment complex or facilities or hotels, something like this, again, hugely beneficial. But for me, not so much, and that's literally why it's taken this long to bring one in. Another selling point to me personally, which I think I kind of hit on, the comparison's sake. Is the tool check better than the modulars? Can you kit out the modulars and be better? Is the price difference better? How do they all three compare to Hazet? All right. That's kind of a big selling point to me now. Wera, if you're new to the brand, does a very, very nice job with impressive packaging. Think of them as like the smartphone company of the German tool world. Quick check on the content list. This is an 813. These are shipping as 815s in our modulars. You got the 8001A, that is going to be the bit ratchet. Right here, we've got the 899/1K. That's sort of like your Rapidaptor. It's going to plug into your bit ratchet. It's going to plug in here. It's going to hold bits. It looks like, if we go through this, and this is just bits, right? That's clearly not slotted. We're going to run with it. I'm thinking, if I'm seeing this correctly, that is going to be a 5.5 slotted. Most of these bits are going to be standard 25 mil. I think there's going to be some 50s. So slotted, we get one at 5.5. Square, what the frick is that? I don't even know. I guess that's a number 1 square? Who knows? This is not going well there. Right there. So hard to see these stupid things through the camera. I'm thinking that's 3, 4, 5, 6, and 8 on metric hex. Right here, we're going to have number 2 Phillips. I'm sorry, 2 number 1s, 3 number 2s, 1 number 3. Posi, you get a number 1. 3 number 2s and 1 number 3. Torque, there's got to be a better way to, like, I have my systems that involves parentheses and square brackets. That would be wildly useful here. Torque's front, it looks like you're going to have a T10, a T15, a T20, a T25, a T30, a T40. Nice selection there, one apiece. Security torques, you're going to have 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And then for your sockets, these are going to be quarter drive metric. Okay, I figured something out. That makes sense now. 5.5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, and 13. So the thing that I couldn't figure out, I was just like, what do they mean 1? It was going to be a square adapter. So think of socket drives. Okay. Yeah, I was like, wait, why don't you get a number 2 square? That would be like way more common. So opening it up, beautiful presentation. Again, simple, concise, minimalistic rattlings. Everything seems to be in place. I'm going to kick this down. Oftentimes I complain they don't include a sticker, but they did include a sticker here. Also, when you take the packaging out, you got, again, just really, really superb presentation of this stuff. On Anglaise, are there any selling points we want to talk about here? Technical properties for quarter bits and quarter drive sockets. At least 65 Newton meters of transferable torque. Thumb wheel for fast action. That's going to be for your ratchet there. Return angle of 6 degrees. Simple forward reverse. Excellent corrosion protection. Rapidaptor bit holder functions as a miniature extension. And it's going to come with an adapter to enable socket attachment. I suppose you'd rather stare at that. Right here. The technical properties of the screwdriver bits. Reliable and long-lasting thanks to high-precision profile, superior materials, and outstanding concentricity features. H-bits, which will be colored yellow, are extra hard, and they're suitable for softer materials such as wood. Z-bits, which are going to be this standard gray color, they are ductile tough, suitable for harder materials such as metal. So, kind of confusing because the H-bits are extra hard and used on soft, and the Z-bits are ductile tough and they're used on harder materials. These sockets are per ISO standard 2725 part 3 that are suitable for both manual and power tool use, parentheses non-impact. So in theory, if you've got a Hercules battery powered ratchet, you can spin these. Shouldn't have issues safety wise, at least until the chrome starts to get at some point. But you would not want to put this on an impact, something that's going to hammer, right? You're going to just wear the socket out, put yourself in harm's way, expedite the wear of the socket. Let's see here. Slip-resistant socket is easy to grip, even with oily fingers. They do a very cool Take It Easy tool finder. That's what this color coding is, if you're unfamiliar with it. And you've got a nice dexterity with that ribbed ring at the base. They are also equipped with a ball engraving groove. Reserve the right to make changes during development without prior notice. Thank you for telling me. The other thing, they wanted to congratulate us. Congratulate you. Congratulate anyone purchasing. What do they say? Dear customer, that's me. Congratulations on purchasing a Wera Tool Check. This Wera Tool Check combines a number of frequently needed, innovative tools in a minimal space. Again, basically what I've described to you, just in a more concise manner, right? Arranged logically and clearly visible, tools can be immediately identified. The high quality materials used for the tool check are highly durable and ensure a long service life. The Wera Tool Check features highly ergonomic tools, even for work in very confined spaces. So, if we crack this open, you have silk screened across the front, 5.5 through 13. That is going to be your sockets. You'll note, if I cram these down the rail, what have I done? Well, number one, they're no longer lined up, but number two, I could fit a 14 mil right here. For SAE folks like myself, that's a 9/16 socket. We could also fit some adapter. Say you wanted like a 3/8 or just like a really short extension, or maybe a spinner even, or something along those lines. You've got a little extra space. If you get really into this stuff, a lot of people take the time to modify these. Some more extensive than others. Some are simple, like I just showed you. You could go find a spring steel rail, rip off a quarter drive clip, throw it down. Same thing, you could probably tweak some clips and get some larger sockets, whatever floats your boat. Right here to the side, we've got the 813. Now, this will be interesting to me. I just bought this. This was on sale. It's probably new stock. Because, again, KC Tool sells these quite frequently. Just going to save us time, and I'm going to come up here. What I was doing, this segment right here, which you can kind of see if you use your imagination, there is a number there. It is 24. That is the year of manufacture. I'm kind of curious how people are going to gravitate. Are there going to be a rush to the modulars that are smaller? Or will people stay here? Will both of these be staples in Wera's catalog? Just kind of like a dorky insight thing. The way this is held on is right here. Just basically this little lift up, sort of rubber-esque plasticky piece. This has a lot of stretch to it. It looks like I just broke it. That's cool. Is it broken? Not really, because we can put it back together. But that can happen if you're curious, like, hey, what should that be like? Well, let me try to throw it together for you. Should have really paid better attention, I guess, to what it was like, but I also didn't know that was going to happen. It's pretty simple. There's a spoke, there's a hub. They must go together, and they do. So, right up top, you cannot ignore this. I'm not sure what this clasp does. Let me try to read. It's got the Wera logo. If I slide this way, I have access to this. I believe we've got several iterations of this thing, mainly through calendars, advent calendars. She's a little stiff, but functional. If I slide this back, I've got access to the Rapidaptor. Now, I'm having a hard time getting this out. Also, I've never done it, just slides forward. That would explain why I was having a hard time. If this is in the neutral position, like this side, freeze the ratchet, all the way back, freeze this, sort of like this midpoint, kind of hugs both of them down. I am a metal man. I'm a machinist. I appreciate plastic for lightweight, durable, colors, all those things. Anything I have in my hand that's plastic, I just assume, I don't know when, some will last longer than others, is going to break, right? This, never having had it, just kind of wobbling around over here trying to see how durable this was, we just ripped that out. That is what plastic does to me. Some people love it, some people hate it. I appreciate it, but I just run with the assumption if I love this thing and use it all the time, and by the way, the more you use it, the sooner it will fail, right? Those of you, again, and there are a ton of you, again, I'm probably one of the last, especially doing what I do here on YouTube. I probably hold a record for the longest holdout of picking one of these up. What that ultimately amounts to for you is there are a ton of you that have had these, and you've had these for years. Many of you probably have multiple iterations of this in multiple locations. Might have one in the ubiquitous kitchen drawer that's holding up fine. Might have one in your truck that is falling apart. You might have one that carries around in bags or buckets with you to and from job sites. It's torn up and you've just modified and fixed it and adapted it and taped it. Similarly, you might have one that's been with you for 6 years and it is mint, and you're like, what is this clown talking about? These are elite durability-wise. Tell people, that's where you come in. I can sit here on the bench and take the thing apart inadvertently. I don't have the real-world first-hand experience over time, and that is the big thing that I want to reiterate. So if you think, man, no, I agree with you, I'm apprehensive about all things plastic, this is really good. Tell people. If you're apprehensive about plastic and this was really good, about how long was it good, and then what happened? Was it just the carriage? Because what's going to happen here, I keep looking for like a button, but I guess we just manually flip this thing out. Is there a way to flip the rows apart? Doesn't seem to be. I don't want to break it again. Again, I am not the best set of hands for softly examining plastic. Now, if I look at this before I act and do something stupid, that's sort of my recess. It is not slotted, it is not elongated, it's not a long oval, it doesn't look like a racetrack, so that tells me this is about all the play I'm going to get. Some of you see something vastly disturbing to you, especially if you're new to Wera or update your Wera tools frequently, and it's not got anything to do with the sockets, not got anything to do with the gold bits, it has to do with all of the bits. I'm going to have this here, and you're thinking like, oh, this is so cool, that's the 8, that's the 10, I can learn the color, so if I need 8, I have purple, I tell my daughter to go get the purple one, I tell my son to grab the 6, that's what I need. Cool, this is conveniently located on a corner, because it should be frequently used. But if I come in here, there's nothing silk screened or printed to tell me, Posi 1, Posi 2, Phillips 1, Phillips 2, Phillips 2, Phillips 3. See what I'm saying? And you think like, wait, I thought Wera had the Take It Easy tool finder. Well, there's nothing on this side. Check this out. I come back over here just to the advent calendar. There's my deal. I just tell your daughter to grab the purple one. She gets you the 8 every time. What's this? This is updated. This is Wera's Take It Easy tool finder as applied to bits. This means you can then tell that same daughter who you've trained to get you the pink socket, pinky purple one for an 8, you can tell her to get the red number 2, and she's going to give you a number 2 Phillips. Why? Wera's Take It Easy tool finder, which is such a great concept and system. Aesthetically, just stupid good, right? Where's that here, you say? Like, unbelievable, you paid for the expensive one and didn't get that. You gotta not think of this as the expensive option versus this. You've got to think of this and that as the new updated iterations of this, the classic tried and true giant, right? This is akin if you go out and you buy a Hazet 916 HP and you're like, oh, it's the world's strongest ratchet, it's 90 tooth, this thing's really not that back drag, it broke in, it's amazing. and you go back in time and you buy an old Hazet 916 that is not an HP, guess what? It's not 90-tooth. You're going to notice a difference. That's how you have to look at this. This guy paved the way and blazed the trail for these to be the evolutionary beneficiaries of what it did. How do you make this better? You know, the Take It Easy tool finder was implemented here. Now we see it with our bit of thinks, and we see it in the back. We get easy to identify. Granted, this one has the KC Tool logo, which is super cool. But in general, red is Phillips. 1, 2, 3. You get the idea. Over here in modular land, what does that yellow mean? Slotted. What is this right here? Sort of the green. That's Torx. Cool, right? Now the good news, if you're heavily invested in Wera, or if you get this, you make do, you love it, guess what happens when you wear these bits out, or heaven forbid lose one? I'd rather wear it out than lose it. Guess what you can do? When you repopulate this, you can put in the updated bits, right? It's not a totally lost cause by any stretch of the imagination. Similarly, if you sit here and you're like, okay, I'm never going to use a posi, guess what? You can take these out. These will fit any quarter drive bit. That's the beauty of it. I've got old bit of things here from KC Tool. I'm going to rip that out. Check this out. This would be, I believe, one from Vit. Plug and play, right? So whatever you want to do, if you've got a ton of Mac bits, maybe you bought like one of those RBRT bit sets and you're like, dude, this would be killer for those. Plug and play. Do what you want to do, right? Throw these somewhere else, like an Ernst Bit Boss or something. Keep them in the shop. If you think, man, I don't use security Torx, but I'd love to have like another T15, 20, and 25, do it. And then you have a couple more slots to play with, right? Sky is the limit. I do wish we had more SAE hex bits from German companies in general. I don't really know why we don't. If you use hex stuff all the time, you might think, you know, every once in a while I kind of need like a ball end. Guess what you can buy from Wera or your other choice of bits and plug in to the tool check. Yeah, pretty sweet little setup on that front, is it not? So what I want to do is check fitment. Number one, we're going to grab this guy. We're going to shut the case. We're going to come into the bit ratchet. Very nice execution on this thing. It's, you know, like not the greatest thing you'll ever use, but it's more than functional. You'll note I'm back here spinning it with the thumb wheel. This one's a little stiff. Very good this direction. Very not good this direction. Not a huge fan of that. I don't remember it. I don't know how many of these we've picked up in little sets, Easter or Advent calendar over the years. I don't recall ever having one this stubborn to turn, so I would look at this as more of an anomaly, the odd duck out. This direction, it's not the greatest thing in the world, but it's totally serviceable, more than fine, wouldn't raise any eyebrows. This direction, it's like, what have you done? So hopefully it breaks in. But if we come in over here, we go on to run a 13. You don't get an 11, but that's because they think you're going to have the SAE iteration of this, which would have slightly different bits, SAE sockets. Go to town there. So that is, I mean, you know, again, you got to think what you're doing here. There's lots of play, there's lots of flex. You're not going to be using this for anything insanely critical production work. This is kind of to get you by in a pinch or to take on light-duty tasks, in my opinion. Now, you could probably get away doing a lot more than you think this is capable with, but again, you are kind of limited to, this is a bit ratchet. We're not really supposed to be turning 5/16 bolts and torquing them or breaking them free frequently, right? By all means, go for it, you know, if it's what you got and you got to get something done, but just any other tool you would treat the same way and go to town in that manner. Right here, I'm very interested in the Rapidaptor, and the reason being, I want to know, let me look at the arrow. Doesn't have an arrow. Okay, so if I look at this up here to save us time, there is the detent there, and what I'm trying to figure out, will this, okay, so that went in and locked. Awesome. Now I push up and we're out. So I'm going to get this out of the ratchet. Closing in on the timeout mark. You'll note that automatically went. That's awesome. That's what I was hoping we would get here. And this one, man, I've gotten so used to the Hazet stuff. Up and out, and then watch this. in, and that automatically went down. That was not me, and that locked in place. So once again, I cannot go down, I have to go up, and you'll see it sort of sprung out, and I simply extract. Very cool on that. All right, went ahead and timed out. We would have just had 10 seconds. We now have this. I think, again, through advent calendars or the Easter sets, I've got something akin to this, maybe. I feel like it's the exact same size. And there is a huge benefit to this little guy. And you're thinking like, well, yeah, you can plug all these awesome bits into it. Totally, that's absolutely correct. But let's just come in here and grab this. Number 2 Phillips, of course. Stick it down. There is a bit of play. I mean, it's just a magnetic hold there. But guess what this does that, let's see, the Veras I have handy here, this handle might not do, right? Picture a wall right here, okay? This is small and compact. This is not. This hits the wall, and what does that do? That kicks the shaft out, okay? So as the wall is here and it comes in, you get contact here, you're up at an angle and you're away from the fastener that you intended to hit, okay? This fits. I have used my little Wera, I think it was an Easter set from, they haven't done one in a couple years, but maybe the last one. This dinky little thing here is so stupid handy, and it's literally, I like use it for towel racks. They always come loose, and you just come in, you get your little slotted bit and run it up, and you have a proper size bit. I'm not sitting there with pliers turning a bit. I'm not thumbing a bit by hand, right? This little guy is quite handy. Now again, it's your drive tool here. This would be great. You know, think of like a battery door. You're super into RC cars. You get your kids an RC toy. Boom. Remote needs batteries. Boom. All those little mundane everyday tasks, something like this is super handy because again, what happens when some exotic thing your wife has or some like fancy hair dryer thing, you know, like you can see the wire frayed, you know, well, I can probably reconnect that, but it has like tri-wing screws or it has a posi screw or something. All this stuff. And again, if you're like into electronics, okay, take out your big stuff and put in your tiny specialized things. This is fully, and again, none of this is labeled, so you're not like here, if I go switch this out, you know, I don't have the labeling anymore. But right here, with the bits, since there is no dedicated printing, it's irrelevant. Just lay it out to your specs and have fun with it. But that is that. That is the Wera Tool Check Plus. I did grab, where did I put it? I could have sworn it was sitting here. There it is. Okay. So let's say that you rush out and you buy one of these, or you inadvertently bought one, and then you find out like, oh geez, they make them in metric, or oh no, they actually have a standard one. In my hand I have these. This is how Wera delivers these. This was me checking out their sockets when these were a new thing. This is a quarter drive. We're running 3/16 quarter, 5/16, 3/8, 7/16 half. You're thinking like, idiot, that's not gonna fit there. You got like one, maybe two sockets if they're tiny. Totally agree, but if I ripped those off, that footprint more than easily nests, right? And again, there is a dedicated SAE, but again, let's say that you're sitting here and you're like, I can't think of a time in my life that I would ever need a 5.5, 6, or 7. 8, 10, 12, 13, yeah, man, I wish I had 7/16 though. You know, they didn't give me an 11. I wish I had 7/16 for this, this, and this, and you know, 3/8 would be really handy. Again, rip those off, plug and play. You don't have Wera sockets with the Take It Easy tool finder? Doesn't matter. Any quarter drive socket is gonna fit. If you want to run like an adapter of some sort, you can make that fit. Again, it's kind of the sky is the limit. Let's put this thing back together. Again, right here, this is kind of another point of concern. That's like a friction fit. I could see that going A-wire on me. Again, this is not against Wera, this is against plastic. Anyone that gives me plastic, super nice now. What will it be like in a few years after being in the elements? That's what I don't know. And right there, case in point, that just fell out. So that was not intended. I was just wanting to put these bits back in. I do want to highlight, you've got Wera and the part number. Let's say you love this bit, you used it up, you can't believe you finally wore it out. It does have the part number on the shank here for your drive end. This right here above the square, that's PH2, so it does have the size on the bit. It's just not near as easy as visualizing it with the new Take It Easy Tool Finder stuff, right? Right here where I think, hey, this is great, you know, this little square drive adapter being on the left. Since I read left to right, I see it, I know where it is. If you want it over here or in the middle, make it happen. If you're like, dude, these gold bits rock, fill the whole thing out with them. If you want diamond bits that you have from Wera, fill it out. If you prefer philo, swap them. Again, sky is the limit. Let's go now, and I'm going to show you how this will nest back in. Again, I'm having to put a lot of strain on that. Did go back together, but again, how many times can I do that before this is gone? I don't know. Speculation on my part that it'll fail eventually. Tell me if you use it and you're like, yeah, that you're right, that's the weak link in this thing, is that goes, and then you can't fit that and you have to like rig up something with cable ties, or hey, I found a solution. Tell people. That is what you can do to help folks out. So this right here, I mean, that is going to fall out every time I inadvertently hit that. This is, I guess it'll go another notch, but then this is fully exposed. This, however, is a much tighter friction fit. I mean, I feel currently very confident with that, as you can tell. This thing, if you don't have it all the way in this track, which hopefully you can see that, runs from here to here. If I have this back a little bit, it's wanting to go already. So, and then again, you inadvertently do that and you dump the ratchet, okay? Good news is it's shiny chrome, so you should find it, but I would recommend you go all the way. You'll kind of hear a little click, I guess. So again, learning experience, because again, shockingly, never had one. But yeah, we got one now, and I want to know from you, what do you think? Again, if you're new to Wera, does this strike your fancy as you're like, man, that's going in my motorcycle, or this guy's crazy, that's in the glove box of the Civic and it's perfect for roadside repairs? Similarly, are you like, you know what, I wouldn't put that in my 3/4 ton Cummins, but that would be super cool for my wife in her sewing room, or the kitchen drawer, or, you know, my daughter's in the dorm, you know, this coming fall. I'm going to get her that and throw it in there. Tell me, what do you do with it? How long have you done it? Where do you find uses for it? I know a lot of people that buy these, love them, give them away type of a thing. You're not going to do that with something that sucks or that you find incredibly unuseful, right? You're going to do that with something you think is cool, that people will appreciate. The next question is, if you're a veteran user of the Tool Check, this is the Tool Check Plus, so presumably, you know, I've missed out on the original as well. But what do you think of the modular? Do you like the smaller footprint? Do you like the upgraded, this is significantly bigger, if you couldn't tell, the drive handle. Do you like the capabilities it offers with your precision drivers and your hex keys, or, you know, SAE and metric? Or are you like, you know what, I love everything about these, particularly the banding, but look how many bits you're missing. Like, that's why I stay with this. I've had these, I brought these in, I haven't done much. I have used this one a little bit. This one I hadn't done much aside from have a video made on it and played around with the precision, though. Again, that's the thing to me that's super cool and exciting. But this right here, if you've used this and you've upgraded to this or brought this in because of your love for Wera or Wera's Tool Check, how do you rank them? If somebody were to come to you right now in this video, respond to your comment and say, hey, you said you used that for 7 years, but now you're all about the modular. Why? You know, is it because it's just superior? They found weak links and they fixed it, or they made these pieces replaceable, so eventually when that wears out, you can just swap it? Is it the Take It Easy tool? Would you tell someone like, hey, get this, use it as you wear the bits down, come in, upgrade the bits, you'll be happy? Whatever it may be, tell people it's your time to shine. Personally, I'm going to hold off judgment. I love, obviously, bigger socket selection, bigger bit selection, but there's a lot to be said for this. You know, smaller footprint, thicker, but whammo, right? The biggest glaring difference between these is simply the bits having the Take It Easy tool finder makes it much, much easier to access and see what you've got at a glance and pull it out, go to town. But I'll leave it at that. This is kind of where I want you to chime in and tell people what you think. And again, preface that, hey, I bought one of these like for Christmas last year, and I love it. I wouldn't upgrade to one of these until I had to. He's right about the bits. Or is it just simply a case where it's like, dude, the modulars are so much better, or everything about these except the capacity? My observations are fairly obvious, but again, that first-hand real-world feedback where, you know, this thing is a tank, or you're like, yeah, that was sort of delicate and broke all the time, but hey, they've kind of fixed it here. Tell people, share your experience. End goal, believe it or not, is just to help people out. With that said, do you want to help me out? It doesn't cost you a dime. You can subscribe and ring the bell. If you do that, you jump your Charger across the creek. You crash down. Center console opens up, and you see your Advent Calendar 2024 Wera Modular Tool Check sneak peek sitting there. YouTube just might notify you. We got new videos every Wednesday and Saturday, 9 a.m. Texas time. With that said, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Most importantly, I hope I catch you back here for more from the shop.